Hello students, welcome to your geography. Let's chapter number 5, North America, location, political divisions and physical features. So today we are going to learn about North America, its location, its political divisions, its physical divisions and important rivers of North America. Let us start, children. North America ranks as the third largest continent in the world. America, or the New World, was discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492. Prior to Columbus, the Vikings had led exploratory journeys. Although their pursuits were not broadly known in the Old World, America is called New World. In 1507, the New World came to be known as America, probably named after Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian cartographer, explorer and navigator. So according to the name of the explorer, it is named as America. Location. Let's see the location. If you look at the map of the world, you can see the red color shade which shows North America. North America appears triangular and lies in the northern and the western hemispheres. It is surrounded by the Arctic Ocean in the north, the Atlantic Ocean in the east, the Pacific Ocean in the west, and the Caribbean Sea in the south. The Bering Strait separates it from Asia. The Isthmus of Panama joins North America and South America. The huge continent lies approximately between 5 degrees north to 84 degrees north latitude and from 45 degrees west to 165 degrees west longitudes. The 100 degree west meridian is important as it passes through the middle of North America. Now, political divisions. The two largest countries in this continent are Canada and the United States of America, both of which are situated to the north of the Tropic of Cancer. Canada is the largest country of North America, followed by the United States of America or USA and Mexico. These three countries together cover 95% of the total area of the continent. The continent becomes narrow towards the south. The countries of Nicaragua, Guatemala, Panama, Honduras, Costa Rica, El Salvador and Belize form the Central America. Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti and the many tropical islands of the Caribbean Sea that are popularly called the West Indies or the Caribbean Islands. They are independent countries. To the north of the continent, there are many islands, of which Greenland is the largest. It is the largest island in the world and comes under Denmark. So the largest island in the north is Greenland. It is the largest island in the world and comes under Denmark. Baffin Island and Victoria Island are two of the largest islands located in and around the Hudson Bay. The other important islands are Newfoundland and the Aleutian Islands. The continent has very long coastlines, fairly indented with many large ports located on the west. Indented means not straight, where there are too many curves. Now, physical features. There are four major physical divisions in North America: Canadian Shield, Western Cordillera, Central Lowland, Appalachian Highlands. Now, Canadian Shield, let us learn about it. Canadian Shield, which is also called the Laurentian Plateau, can be found in the extreme north of the continent near and around the Hudson Bay. It occupies about half the area of Canada. Canadian Shield is made up of very old hard rocks that are rich in minerals. During the Ice Age, it was covered under thick sheets of moving ice called glaciers. Even today, the northern part of this shield remains under snow and ice almost throughout the year. At the same time, rocks were also being dragged across the surface by the force of the ice sheets. These created large hollows which eventually turned into lakes. So around Hudson Bay, you will find so many lakes. That is called Canadian Shield. The lakes, Great Lakes, comprise of 5 lakes Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Erie, and Ontario. They also form the southern boundary of the Canadian Shield. Other lakes found here are Winnipeg, Athabasca, and Great Bear. The famous Niagara Falls is located between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. It also forms the international boundary between Canada and USA. So Canada is separated from USA by these Great Lakes. Western Cordilleras. The Western Cordilleras are the young fold mountains that run parallel to the west coast of North America. They run from North Alaska to South Panama. These mountains are a series of ranges that attain their greatest width in the middle. In the middle it is very wide. The highest of these ranges is the Rocky Mountain Range. The other important mountain ranges in the Western Cordilleras are the Alaska Range, Coastal Range, the Cascade Range, the Sierra Nevada, and the Sierra Madre. The Western Cordilleras are young fold mountains which were formed during the same time as the Himalayas. They are also characterized by hot springs and geysers. Yellowstone National Park in USA is very well known for such phenomena. Active volcanoes are Active volcanoes are located in Alaska and Mexico. These volcanoes are the part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. So in the western part of Western Cordilleras, you find these active volcanoes which lies in the Pacific Ring of Fire. As it is the boundary of the Pacific Ocean, so it is also called Pacific Ring of Fire. Earthquakes are also common here. Mount McKinley is located in the Western Cordilleras and is the highest mountain peak of North America. These high snow-covered mountains cause relief rainfall. What do you mean by relief rainfall, children? Relief rainfall is the rainfall which occurs in the mountainous region. Hence, the melting snow and the rain cause many rivers which originate from here. The rivers are also, they carve out gorges in the plateaus like the famous Grand Canyon by the Colorado River. Gorges are the marks very deep which by the flowing rivers. These rivers flow very fast, therefore creating depth which is called gorge. This is the famous Grand Canyon, the Colorado River. When the rivers do not flow out into the ocean, they form areas of inland drainage such as the Great Salt Lake. Some rivers, they do not flow into the ocean, they flow into the salt lake which is surrounded by the land. That is why they are called inland rivers of inland drainage. Many intermountain plateaus like Columbia, Colorado, and Mexican are found between the Pacific coast and the Rocky Mountains. The intermountain plateaus means the plateaus which are surrounded by mountains. Central lowlands are the prairies are found between the Western Cordilleras and the Canadian Shield and the Appalachian Mountains. So the Appalachian Mountains lie in the east and the Cordilleras lie in the west, and the central lowlands, between them are found the prairies lowlands. These plains are not completely flat but are gently undulating. Undulating means in some places they are high, some places they are gently low. The plains are drained by two main river systems. One is the basin of the Mackenzie River in the north, which drains into the Arctic Ocean. The other is the larger basin in the south, drained by the Mississippi and Missouri rivers and the tributaries, which flow into the Gulf of Mexico. The north-south extent of the prairies is about 6,000 kilometers. So it's a vast plain, big plain, while the east-west extent is about 2,000 kilometers. These rivers have deposited silt to form a fertile plain. Silt is the eroded soil brought down by the rivers. It's a topsoil, very fertile soil, which is useful for growing wheat. Appalachian Highlands. Another name for the Eastern Highlands is the Appalachian Mountains. These are old fold mountains which were once very high. They run parallel to the narrow east coast for a distance of about 2,500 km with an average height of approximately 1,000 meter. to 1800 meter. The Appalachian begins near Newfoundland in the north to Atlanta in the south. Major mountain ranges in these highlands are the Green Mountains, the Blue Ridge, and the White Mountains. Mount Mitchell is the highest point of the highlands. Piedmont Plateau lies between the Appalachians and the narrow coastal plain found in the east. So, Piedmont Plateau lies between the Appalachian and the coastal plain in the east. Rivers that rise in the highlands and cross the plateau drop sharply to the coast in a series of waterfalls, and it is known as the fall line. The waterfalls along the fall line are also used to generate hydroelectricity. When the rivers reach the coastal plain, they are used for transportation since they now flow slowly and become navigable. Navigable means where the ships can navigate or they can go. It is useful for ships and boats to float. North America has several large rivers and lakes which have played an important role in the economic development of the continent. Let's see how the rivers they are useful for navigation, transportation, and therefore the trade can be easily carried on, which play an important role in the economic development of the continent. Rivers and lakes. The rivers in the North America that flow northwards are Mackenzie and Nelson. Nelson has its source in Lake Winnipeg and flows into the Hudson Bay. The Mackenzie River has its source in the Great Slave Lake and it flows into the Arctic Ocean. Among the rivers that flow eastwards. So children, while you read the lesson, you mark these rivers in your atlas or in the textbook map so that it will help you for locating this. Among the rivers that flow eastwards, the largest is the St. Lawrence River. The Great Lakes and St. Lawrence combine to make the St. Lawrence River system. The river begins in Lake Ontario and flows northeast into the Gulf of St. Lawrence. The Mississippi, Missouri flow to southwards into the Gulf of Mexico. The tributaries of Mississippi are the Ohio, the Arkansas, and the Missouri. The Mississippi, Missouri is the largest river system in North America. The Rio Grande River, also known as Rio Bravo, originates from Colorado. It is one of the longest rivers in North America. The rivers that flow towards the west are the Yukon that flows into the Bering Sea, and the Columbia River, which used to be called the Oregon earlier and has its source in the Columbia Lake. It reaches the Pacific Ocean through a large estuary. The Colorado River flows into the Gulf of California, and this river has the famous Hoover Dam on it. Fraser River originates from Rocky Mountains and it flows into the Strait of Georgia. So these rivers, North America, you learned up to this much. Now it will be better, children, if you read the lesson properly and understand. While reading, you go through the names of some rivers and mountain ranges and some plateaus and mark them properly in your map. I will send some questions to you, then you will mark them along with the map I will send. Now let us stop here, children.